Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Chira Banachari Jamuna Chira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Chira Banachari Jamuna Chira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Bhaktivedanta Asadhari Śrīmad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Gho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2. Text 10. Arishyanti Manusya Tvam Sarvakama Vana Ishvarim Dupa Upahara Balibi Sarvakama Vara Pradam Arishyanti Manushas Archishyanti Manuyashastvam Sarvakama Vadeshvarim Dupopahara Balibi Sarvakama Varapradam Arishyanti Manushastvam Sarvakama Vareshvarim Dupopahara Balibi Sarvakama Varapradam Arishyanti Manushastram Sarvakama Varishvarim Dupopahara Balibi Sarvakama Varapradam Arishanti will worship Manusya, human society. Tvam, unto you. Sarvakama Vara Ishvarim, because you are the best of the demigods who can fulfill all material desires. Dupa, by incense. Upahara, by presentations. Balibi, by different types of worship through sacrifice. Sarvakama, of all material desires. Vara, the blessings. Pradam, one who can bestow. Translation. By sacrifices of animals, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia, because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. Please repeat. By sacrifices of animals, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia, because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.20, Kamaistayaster hitagyana prapandyante nya devata. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods. Therefore the word manusya, meaning human being, here refers to one who does not know the actual goal of life. Such a person wants to enjoy the material world by taking birth in a highly elevated family with the benefits of education, beauty, and immense wealth, which in this material world are desirable. One who has forgotten the real aim of life may worship Goddess Durga, Maya Shakti, under various names for different purposes and in different places. As there are many holy places for the worship of Krishna, there are also many holy places in India for the worship of Durga Devi or Maya Devi, who took birth as the daughter of Yashoda. After cheating Kamsa, Maya Devi dispersed herself to various places, especially in Vindhyachala, to accept regular worship from ordinary men. A human being should actually be interested in understanding Atma Tattva, the truth of Atma, the spirit soul, and Paramatma, the supreme soul. Those who are interested in Atma Tattva worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasmin vignate sarva evam vigyatam bhavati. However, as explained in the next verse of this chapter, those who cannot understand Atma Tattva, apashyatam Atma Tattvam, worship Yogamaya in her different features. Therefore, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 2.1.2 says, Shochav yadini rajendra nrinam santi sahasrasaha apashyatam Atma Tattvam griheshu grihamedinam. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. Those who are interested in remaining in this material world are not interested in spiritual salvation. They have many, many duties. But for one who is interested in spiritual salvation, the only duty is to surrender fully unto Krishna. Sarvadharman pradikyaja mamekam sharanan bhaja. Such a person is not interested in material enjoyment. Nama Om Shnibhadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskatare Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, thank you very much for coming this morning. Please, I hope I can say something worthwhile for you to be a little elevated, all of us to be a little elevated in Krishna consciousness. So the first few words are sacrifices of animals. Prabhupada talks so much about this slaughter of animals. And that's one thing that, and many times about the Christians who slaughter animals. They eat animals. Of course, we know that anyone in the chain of supplying animals, killing and delivering and of course eating, are implicated in very heavy karma. So it's really a sad situation worldwide to see so many animals being slaughtered, innocent animals. Prabhupada said that they are also citizens of the country. They're born in the country. And they're citizens of America or whatever country they're born into, and they should be protected. So Prabhupada also mentioned Christ, thou shalt not, the commandment, thou shalt not kill. They take that to mean only human beings. That applies to all creatures. We should avoid killing all animals, any insects, any moving thing that has a soul. So, of course, the argument is that vegetables also have a soul. But Krishna accepts those things. He accepts a leaf, flower, fruit, or water. So we can certainly take those after offering to Krishna. So Prabhupada, in the translation, refers to ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously. So ordinary human beings means those who are interested in material benefit, material pleasure, sense gratification. So that's our enemy. For a devotee, sense gratification is always being offered to us. Basically we have these senses, we have this body, we have these desires. So it's actually a challenging path. Krishna consciousness is not easy. And Prabhupada said it's a very gradual process. So there are many places of worship of Durga in India. I remember we were walking in Vrindavan on a morning walk with Prabhupada. And there was a temple of goddess Katyayani. And Prabhupada stopped and walked in the temple and paid obeisances. We were surprised. This is a temple of Durga temple, Katyayani. So we asked Prabhupada afterwards, Prabhupada, why are we paying obeisances inside a Durga temple? And Prabhupada said, I was thinking of the gopis worshiping goddess Katyayani to get Krishna as their husband. So this is Prabhupada's mood, always connecting everything to Krishna. And this is what we're meant to do. We're, as I said a couple of days ago, we're surrounded in this body, the living entity, us, the soul. We're surrounded by all the material elements. And those are Krishna's external energies: earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, and false ego. We're surrounded by our own bodies, composed of those elements. And we're surrounded by the environment, also composed of those elements. So really, we can't get away from Krishna. We try to with our consciousness, but that's simply a futile endeavor. Krishna is always there, especially in our hearts. So it's actually a very profound philosophy that's meant to be taken very seriously. And it's urgent that we get out of this material world. I remember Prabhupada at the installation of Krishna Balaram and Radhashyam Sundar and Gaurnitai in Vrindavan, 1975. He gave a speech after that installation. He was standing on the mandap, and he thanked everyone for coming. And then, unexpectedly, at least in my mind, he started talking about all the different species of life. And this is the opening of the temple, and Prabhupada was talking about the different species of life. But he was trying to impress on the audience and all of us that we have to pass through so many species of life to get to where we are. And now we have a chance to reverse the cycle of repeated birth and death and be free. So Prabhupada was always thinking about the welfare of the conditioned souls. And that's why he came from Vrindavan to America. One time in a very interesting story, of course, we hear that in this purport that Durga's temples are spread all over India. Of course, temples of Krishna and other deities are also all over India. But Prabhupada was coming to Detroit. He came to Detroit, flew in the airport. He was driving past Uniroyal Tire Company. And in front of the tire company, they have a huge tire. It's 25 meters high. So Prabhupada saw that, and he said, this is their deity. A tire. So they have so many factories, and to manufacture all these so-called comforts. But for every comfort, there's a discomfort. There's a pollution of the factories. There's it just goes on and on. It's endless. Trying to make ourselves comfortable in this material world. But Krishna certifies this is a place of misery. We have to really understand that, and not, if misery comes, not frantically try to avoid it, because happiness is next. Happiness and distress, just like winter and summer seasons, they come and go. So we should not be too anxious to make ourselves comfortable, but rather spend our time to become Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada was always Krishna conscious. There's a beautiful story by one sannyasi. I'd like to read it, actually. I could try to say it from memory, but I won't do it justice. So this is the memory in our series Following Srila Prabhupada. Following Srila Prabhupada is all the videos that we know exist of Prabhupada. And there's 335 devotees speaking in that series. And all of them had direct contact with Prabhupada. They were there at the time of the filming, so they can give very accurate description, first-hand accounts of what happened there. So this is a story from one sannyasi. And he said, I had taken sannyasa in 1975, so I was still relatively a new sannyasi. And of course, I was a young man. I was only 25 years old. Prabhupada was in his quarters on the 11th floor of the building, Prabhupada called it the skyscraper building in Manhattan, New York. And Prabhupada said to me, Maharaj, have you seen the New York women? I was a young sannyasi. I didn't know what to answer. Have I seen the New York women? So I hesitated to answer, and he went on. He just said, they are so beautiful. They are charming. And he began to talk about the New York women. Then, as he continued, he said, in this way, they are controlling all of the men in New York City. And because they are controlling all of the men, all of these buildings are going up. And the whole city is manifesting. And he went on like that, describing this whole development of New York. And he said, it is all Vishnu Maya. And it was so edifying for me because often the take on sannyasa in ISKCON was anti-women. And women were to be avoided and something like that. But to see Prabhupada, the perfect sannyasi, meditating even on the beauty and the charm of the women, and then be able to take it to that point that he did in perfect Krishna consciousness, it is all Vishnu Maya. He could meditate completely on the material nature, the material energy, and because of seeing it in relation to Krishna, he would never be in danger of being affected by the material nature. This is the real idea of sannyas. So what a beautiful account. Let's see what else we have. So we're really completely dependent on Krishna's mercy. I mentioned the other day that how long can we exist without one of Krishna's material energies in the form of air, water? You know, we don't do very well because we're dependent. This idea of independence is a complete illusion. So, at every step we're dependent on Krishna and his energies. There's a couple of verses in Bhagavad Gita emphasizing our dependence on Krishna's mercy. That is Bhagavad Gita 10, 10, and 11. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Krishna gives the understanding by which we can come to him. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And Prabhupada very often quoted the famous verse in the 18th chapter, verse 66, Sarvadharman pradikyaja mamekang sharanang vaja ahang tvang sarva papabhyo moksheshmi masyajaha. I think this is probably one of the most often quoted verses in Prabhupada's lectures. I remember in the early days of India, he quoted it time and time again to remind us of Krishna's request and Krishna's mercy that he will protect us from all different types of fear. So the greatest fear is the fear of the cycle of birth and death. And we should be very always conscious of that, and spend our time in value in becoming pure in mind and heart. Excuse me. So I'll stop here if there's any comments and realizations. Sheshika Prabhu would always give short classes and then ask for comments, realizations. I remember Yamuna Devi also, I mentioned that her classes were reading the verse and everybody giving their realizations. That was her Bhagavatam class. Yes.
My realization of this is ordinary human beings are reaching out to the Supreme and fulfilling the material desires.
It could just be.
Ordinary human beings are praying to the Lord in fulfilling the material desires. The devotees are encouraged to pray the Lord for spiritual realization. Is it wrong for devotees to pray the Lord for any material desires?
We can approach the Lord. Prabhupada actually mentioned, he mentioned Gornitai and say, my dear brothers, I have some problem. And you state your problem and ask for some solution. Do you remember that? Yeah, Prabhupada said we can actually approach them for any difficulty, which is a great relief, isn't it? Prabhupada's given us permission to approach the deities for any difficulty. And there's always going to be difficulty, always. Sometimes devotees talk about the good old days with Prabhupada. There was also big problems. There were wonderful days. But some of the biggest problems happened at that time in the society. Probably the biggest one was when devotees were thinking that Prabhupada was God, was Krishna. And the preaching was when in Bhagavad Gita when it says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, we should say Srila Prabhupada Uvacha. Prabhupada was disgusted. In fact, he fled America. Of course, he didn't flee, he just chose to. But he left America for over a year. That happened in Los Angeles. I remember there was big preaching like that going on in New Vrindavan, 1970. And I had just been there as an outsider doing this magazine article on the devotees for Asia Magazine. So I was there just before that John Masmi festival in New Vrindavan, where there 4 sannyasis were preaching like that. So we should understand the history of, the difficulty and never repeat it again. We shouldn't repeat the mistakes that we made in the past. So always problems will be there. We should expect that. Not try to quickly, get rid of the problem. Do our best, of course, but not be too attached to our comfort. Okay. Is that okay?
About the animal slaughter, like you were saying, the Christians, they say thou shalt not kill, but they say it's okay to kill, but it's murdering for human beings, not kill the human being, but they kill the animals. We're talking about the karma. Everybody is implicated in the karma. So how do you explain, because they don't also believe in the karma, if you're talking to a Christian, because they don't believe in all these things, Vedic scriptures. Is there a way to explain to them about the implication of the karma? Some sort of way to, if we get into the conversation, then we can. But they don't, it's very difficult to talk, but we can explain a little bit the karma.
Yeah. You can explain very simply that for every action, there's a reaction. It's either immediate or comes later. Just like you put your hand in the fire and there's a reaction. So it's actually a very simple understanding. But there's, most people are so dull these days, or they can't understand even that they're not the body, which can be also explained very simply. So people are, their intelligence is lost more and more and more. So it's an urgent business, Krishna consciousness, and becoming Krishna conscious ourselves and giving it to others. Prasadam is a great weapon. The unseen weapon. They don't know what they're doing. Destroying their material life by taking prasad. So we have all the ammunition. It's just a matter of us, becoming pure ourselves and having more and more influence as we become pure on others. So we need to, prayer is a very important part. In fact, of course, the Hare Krishna mantra is a prayer. My dear energy of the Lord, dear Lord, please engage me in your service. That's a prayer. So prayer is extremely important. Because ourselves, if we depend on our own abilities, those are very limited. Prabhu. So nice to see you. We were taking movies of Prabhu's initiation in Vrindavan. He was an 8-year-old boy. Have you seen that video? Yeah? How many have seen the video? Okay. You're famous.
I showed them.
Okay. We're still going on after 50-something years.
You took that video, right?
Yeah. Little 8-year-old boy. I remember you were commenting that the barber shaved your sika off. And you're very embarrassed. But I think the other your friends were making fun of you, right? Because you had no sika. Looked like a Mayavadi. Prabhupada didn't care. He didn't say anything. Did he? No.
Yeah, he didn't seem to care at all.
No. Anything else?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
So I'm taking up a method that Aniruddha Prabhu sometimes uses in classes and stepping back. And the context of today's verse is that Krishna is giving instructions to Yogamaya. And when we see in this verse that he's addressing someone as supreme, it's actually Yogamaya. And he goes on to...
Can you speak louder, please.
Sorry. When we're reading in this verse that someone is supreme at fulfilling material desires, the verse is actually addressed to Yogamaya. I won't complicate things any further.
What's your question?
When we come to the verse cold, we may think that the verse is addressed to the Supreme, and the Supreme is Krishna. But actually in this context, Krishna is addressing Yogamaya and giving her instructions what to do.
So, yeah, Yogamaya is supreme within this material, within this material world. She's conducting all the activities, or, supplying all the material needs of those who are not devotees of Krishna, not understanding that Krishna is the supreme. So in that sense, she's the supreme in this context in the material world. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One of the points that personally I found kind of striking is that when you were reading the purport, and also you emphasized that animals, they are also citizens.
Also what?
Citizens. They are citizens. We should consider them as citizens. Many times I heard that, but today was kind of awareness a bit more of what that means. The rights of all citizens, human beings that we consider. It's not just seeing them as, okay, the Krishna is in their heart, they are a spiritual soul in a in animal body, but as a citizens, they have also rights. And all of us, we are ought to respect and protect them. So it was kind of awareness more of that. It's not just theoretical understanding, at least today for me in that way. Okay, I must also protect, not just respect. And,
Yes. Was that a question?
a comment. I just want, it's
Comment,
a comment.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they should be protected. They took birth on this earth. They should be protected. It makes common sense. It's, again, people are just not conscious. Intelligence is covered. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question. Many times when we try to convince our friends, relatives, that meat eating is like not good, so many times they give argument that why this is made for us, this is the law of nature. If you don't eat, then the food chain might be, you are interfering with the food chain, their population would grow. So how to tell them?
There's all kinds of statistics about the problems with eating meat. Even the materialists are giving very good evidence that it's harmful for health. So that's an argument. And also, well, it's very hard to, if they don't want to, if they don't see any problem with eating meat, it's difficult to convince them. But again, giving prasad and not trying to push anything on them. Just make friends with them, and the more friendly that you are with them, they'll want to know more about you, your lifestyle. And actually, outsiders can actually see the difference with devotees. Prabhupada called us bright faces. Actually, I think one Christian pastor noticed that. So they can actually see the difference. And if they have any curiosity at all, they'll inquire. But if you can show them the Hare Krishna movie, that will also help. They can see what sacrifice Prabhupada made and be moved by his journey. It's an incredible story. Even materialists have to admit it's an amazing story. Starting with nothing, no money, no friends, no contacts, one contact, but he never met that person. And that was Sally Agarwal in Butler, Pennsylvania. So they'll just be amazed by his story and take inspiration. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So I had a question related to sacrifice of animals. So as we know, it's cruelty towards the animals. And in this age, chanting is recommended. But in the previous yugas, there were still sacrifices of animals. So why did Krishna allow, sacrifices of animal to happen in previous yugas?
That was done to give that animal a new life, a better life, a higher life. I don't know the details if they became humans or not, but that was to the advantage of the animal at that time. They had the power. The Brahmins had the power to elevate that animal. So it wasn't just slaughter for eating, for satisfy the tongue, but it was a science. There was a purpose behind it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Do you have any realizations from when you were filming Prabhupada? I heard some devotees say that he's the most photogenic person. Is there anything that comes to your mind any experiences you had during those times?
Prabhupada was never camera shy. He didn't feel uncomfortable in front of a camera like most of us do, like I do. The camera. So yeah, Prabhupada was very, very natural at all times. Actually, I asked him to, I was in his room soon after it was opened in Vrindavan in 1971. Prabhupada gave us a tour of Vrindavan. And I asked Prabhupada, could I take a picture? Prabhupada, can I take a picture of you in your room? So he was like really acting like a little boy, kind of shy, and asked me where he should stand. It was so touched the heart. And but yeah, Prabhupada was very. He didn't like noisy cameras. I mentioned that. But he allowed us to to film him during his translation, 2:00 in the morning. He gave us wonderful access, so we could also see Prabhupada in motion today. Arjuna asked Krishna, what are the symptoms of a man of transcendence? How does he walk? How does he sit? How does he talk? So a movie, unless you're there in person with a man of transcendence, the only way you can see that is through a movie. And just one generation back of the Parampara, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, there's no films and there's no audio. Just imagine that. Wouldn't it be nice to hear Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati speak? But there's no audio. Or, see a movie of him. So we have a great treasure. Prabhupada was allowed early on his audio recordings to be recorded, his lectures. So he knew that in the future it would be very valuable. And Prabhupada financed our first movie, Hare Krishna People. And he gave $16,000 from his book fund to make that movie. There was no films on ISKCON at that time. So Prabhupada, actually that $16,000 today is worth over $100,000. So Prabhupada, and that came from the book fund. So that Prabhupada knew the value of media. People are mad after movies then, they're more mad after movies today. So. Yeah.
So you're mentioning the value of movies because they engage us so fully. How much inspiration do you gain from our scriptures in your movie making?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
You were speaking about Srila Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, who there are no audio or media. There is only his written records of his work, of his words. What is the relationship between your movie making and the written record in ISKCON?
What's the difference between movie making and the written record?
The relationship?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, when we try and make a painting, for instance, we look at the scriptures and we get inspiration from the words of the scriptures. Does that not relate to movie making?
Is that not related to movie making?
Is your movie making not influenced by our written culture?
Is my movie making not related to the culture?
To our books, our written word.
We need to read as much as we can, and from that we get inspiration to do our service. Definitely it's related like that. We all need to read and hear as much as possible to purify the mind and the heart. So if you don't have an opportunity to come to the temple every day, chant or read as much as you can. It's also really helpful for the children. If you're grihasta and have children, do something every day with the children. And because they can see that if you do that, you're steady, that you want to advance in Krishna consciousness. Important for the children. So reading and chanting will give us inspiration for anything else we do, including movie making. Microphone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, definitely movies impact us, influence us. As we see that recently Narsimha movie came, it was really good, and devotees have been looking, in these areas because childrens need those movies. In fact, everybody needs those movies. And Hare Krishna movie was one of the first movie we saw, and then Abhay also, by as well as Bhakti Swami Maharaj. First question is, any other movies you are working on now, like any other small projects or bigger ones? The That is the first question. And the second one, if you like to share some of the realizations when you were filming and then it touched your heart in terms of, becoming more dedicated in bhakti life and some treasures which you have.
I'm a consulting producer on a film on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's being produced by a team of Russians. If you look on YouTube and type in Chaitanya, you'll see a trailer, and it's quite impressive. They're hoping to release in November or December of this year. But they're using live actors plus AI. So it's they're very talented. So we hope that is released, and it's a big hit. Just as the Shringa Avatar movie was. And the director of that film took advice from devotees, actually, and the scenes with Prahlad, his preaching, fantastic. That's the highlight for me. It was the highlight of the film, Prahlad's preaching. Has everyone seen that film?
Yes.
How many have seen it? I think pretty much everyone. So we need many more films like that. The outside producers, there's so much material being produced every day. The consumption is endless. So we need to produce more films. And the beginning of any film is the script. That's the basis of all films. So we need writers, script writers. It's a very difficult art because it takes expressing a whole a whole movie, 2-hour movie. You have to condense everything very tightly. In fact, there's an Oscar award for films that were made from books, or scripts made from books. It's such an art. So we need writers. What was the other question?
The second one was your realizations when you were making movies of Prabhupada and how some of the moments touched you in your bhakti lifestyle, and then some treasures to share, what happened at those times. I'm not sure whether everything is really documented.
I remember I was taking photos at the installation of the Paris deities, and there's a huge kirtan going on after the installation. So I put down my camera and started dancing in the kirtan. And I looked at Prabhupada on the Vyasa, and he went like this. Yeah. Come. So it was really a loud kirtan, so I had to put my head really close to Prabhupada's mouth. And the words that he said were, "Never put down your camera." So I ran to get my camera and started taking more pictures. So it's kind of easy today with the iPhones or everything's in one. So anyway, we tried over the years to follow that instruction. Prabhupada actually gave us the instruction to make Krishna conscious films the most popular films. Distribute the first film that we made widely, that he financed, and from the profits make more films. So Prabhupada saw 4 of our films. They're all on YouTube, on our Hare Krishna Film Classics channel. So, including the latest Hare Krishna movie, Hare Krishna, the mantra, the movement, and the Swami who started it all. And by the way, you may have friends in India, or relatives in India, or friends. It's in all the 8 major Indian languages, that movie. It's available really for the world. Also, it's subtitled in 23 languages, including Chinese and Arabic. So the whole world has an opportunity to meet Prabhupada. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for enlightening us. As you were mentioning earlier about children being, the vital part of the ISKCON movement. So you were mentioning about as a family, like we should do something with children. So, like we know Hari Priya is wonderful in our movement. She's a great inspiration to the children. So what should, as a family, as parents, we should do with children so that they get inspired to continue in this movement to serve Srila Prabhupada? Something you can share on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The best thing to do is be inspired ourselves. The parents be inspired. The children will see that and also become inspired. That's kind of an indirect way of inspiration, but it's by our example, by our absorption, it's really important. And also, as I said, just to have something in the home every day where you and the parents participate with the children. That's important. Thank you. Okay, shall we end here? Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.